There were always so many conflicting signals about the Eden-Monaro by-election. On the one hand, it was long the bellwether seat, the seat that always swings with the government. On the other, history saying the swing is usually against governments in by-elections. Local factors also complicated the outlook. The loss of a popular MP, Labor's Mike Kelly, and his personal vote of about 3 to 4%. There were the disastrous bushfires in the southeast, triggering voter backlash about Scott Morrison's handling of the disaster.
A lack of support for bushfires by the federal government.
It was a major one for both of us.
And of course, there was COVID-19.
I think what I thought about before I voted was what Australia has gone through recently. Going through the coronavirus, I think stability is a really big thing.
Labor has ultimately retained the seat after losing something equivalent to Mike Kelly's personal vote. The Liberals gained some of that swing, but not enough. And that's because the compelling story in Saturday's election has come from how the vote sprayed across the constellation of minor parties, with troubling ramifications for both the Nationals and the Greens, and from the diversity of outcomes across the electorate. Labor's overall win was built heavily on big swings in the southeast, the area hit hardest by bushfires, and where Labor candidate Kristy McBain rose to national prominence, managing the crisis as the independent mayor of Bega Valley. Slightly further north, there were swings to Liberal candidate Fiona Kotvoy's, including at Cobargo, the devastated scene of the Prime Minister's infamous visit during the January bushfires, but also Fiona Kotvoy's hometown. Inland, the picture was murkier, with swings in both directions. The Liberals did better in the populous urban part of the electorate, once again winning in areas like Googong and Jerrabomberra, and making big inroads in some booths in Queanbeyan. Queanbeyan is a good starting point into the complexities of what happened on Saturday night. Enter the Barra factor. John Barilaro is the New South Wales Deputy Premier who announced he was going to run for Eden-Monaro, then withdrew. He has a huge popular following in Queanbeyan, but is considered a disruptive pain in the neck by many state and federal Liberals with whom he is in regular conflict.
John Barilaro, he's been fantastic for Queanbeyan. He's delivered every project, it has got his name on it at the moment.
Whatever Barilaro's strong vote around Queanbeyan, the Nationals scored an even lower primary vote in this by-election, just under 6.5%, than they did in last year's federal poll. That counted heavily against the Liberals because of a loss of preferences. And the Nationals' vote was only slightly higher than the new disruptor in the field, the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party. The minor party has been relentlessly picking up disillusioned Nationals votes in the bush in New South Wales for the last few years at a state level. And at least half the Shooters' preferences in this by-election went to Labor.
They're seeing us as a viable choice. You go down to Bombarda, there's not a blade of grass on some of those paddocks in National Party stronghold areas, and I just don't know if they've received the drought funding that they should have received and the support and assistance.
Labor held the seat against the coalition despite record approval ratings for the Prime Minister and the power and oxygen of incumbency. Even outside the areas hit by bushfires, there was not a uniform stampede to the government. Much of this must go to Anthony Albanese's choice of candidate, bringing home the southeast. It's been the first positive captain's pick for some time and eliminates the prospect of rumblings against the Labor leader. The Prime Minister always talked down the chances of winning this seat, but if there are any wider campaigning lessons to be learned from the by-election, it might be these. In these difficult times, incumbency and personal approval don't guarantee an outcome.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.